Hi, and welcome to Screens in Focus podcast, where we share and connect as we spotlight our favorite shows and movies. I'm Diana, and today we're talking about The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 15, and our recommendations on Bridgerton Season 2, Quiet Place Part 2, Slow Horses, and more. Margaret, wake up! Margaret!
I can't deal with a time shift. The time change continuum.
How are you today?
Oh, today it's debatable.
All right.
How about you?
You're here, and I see you, and I'm happy you're here.
Aw, that's nice.
Of course. I love seeing you. Okay, so in this episode, Hornsby finds an old truck at the hilltop that he uncovers, which, you know, is an old vehicle. He talks about being a gearhead. So it got me to thinking about old trucks and old cars. And so I wanted to ask you, this is our question of the day. What is your favorite old or classic car that you've ever driven?
Well, I learned how to drive on a 73 yellow Mercury Capri. It was the car. Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah. It was a stick too. So I learned how to drive an automatic. When I was 15, my mom would take me out on our street, and then it was a cul-de-sac. So she'd just have me shift and drive and, learn how to maneuver the shifting. So it was really kind of cool, but that's pretty much what I drove. After I got my license. I took the test, of course, not on a stick, but on an automatic. But I did end up with a flat tire right after the road test. So it's always mechanics. I love cars. I love old cars, though. They're so fun. That car was so fun, that little Mercury Capri. And I don't know what happened to it. It was the first car when my parents got divorced, she had a wagon. Classic, right? Mm-hmm. Housewife, you got 3 kids, you have a wagon. And she traded that in and got the Mercury Capri, which was a 4-seater, period. And it was great. We tooled around and, she loved it. I loved it. It was a cool car.
Yeah, I like that.
What about you? Have you ever had, I know you've had a lot of cars, but anything in particular?
My family, my dad had cars, and I remember driving when I was a teenager, when I was starting to drive. He had a orange big GMC truck, GMC truck. And so it reminded me of this, The Walking Dead with the truck, and he had his GMC truck, but it was smooth. Truck? Yeah, pickup truck. And it was smooth. It felt really smooth. But I also wanted to say one time we borrowed my brother's vehicle, and he had one of those Volkswagen buses. The Volkswagen buses.
Things.
It didn't have a pop-up thing, but that style, right?
A VW bug bus.
Similar to that. Wasn't quite that style. But anyways, the whole point I wanted to get on, it's interesting how all the words were like, it drove really smooth, for being a vehicle that, wasn't brand new, didn't have all this technical stuff on it, but it just was smooth. You just put it into gear and it would just drive. It was just really easy to drive. And I remember loving that, because looking at it, it wasn't the prettiest thing. And it was, like an orangey yellow color. And, but it was really easy and smooth to drive. But one of my first cars was a 69 Mustang Mach 1 that I loved that car.
Oh, wow.
I was always breaking down in that car, but I loved it. It went fast. It was cool. I was known by the car in high school, so I just loved that car. And I know you have a Mustang too. What year is yours?
It's a 66. So it's an automatic factory air. And it's a 289, and I love that car, and I cannot get rid of that car. This is my first car. So I never got rid of it. I just towed it all over the place. I know. Can you stand it? I mean, I had it when I knew you way back.
Yeah.
Way back when. But I know.
I love these cars. Cars. Good memories, right? Really good memories. Really good cars, good memories. All right, friends out there, what is your favorite old or classic car? I mean, wouldn't it be cool if you just told me or sent a picture? I think that would be really cool. So I would love to know.
Yeah.
Okay, friends out there, what is your favorite old or classic car? Please tell us. We want to know. You can leave us a comment on social media, our website, or email at screensinfocus@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you. The links are in our show notes. All right, so episode 15, Margaret, 15. We got one more episode in this part 2. It's entitled Trust. So this episode had muscles, sex, a first kiss, and F-bombs. And we got to see that 6-month flash forward scene that we were so curious about when this part 2 began. So, with Daryl at the front.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with Maggie, that whole part. We finally get to see how that came about, because we wondered, how is it that Daryl's in this trooper outfit, and why is he saying it doesn't have to be like this? And she says, oh, yes, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So, Margaret, what did you think of this episode?
This episode entitled Trust, I thought was very apt, because once I really started thinking about what trust meant, every interaction had some piece or bit of trust involved, whether that was between Princess and then Michael. They had the trust. So just opening up the vulnerability. I can't believe they were in bed. I thought they just went out on a date. So I'm losing time here, right? I mean, it's we just, okay. I don't know. Anyway, I guess in the apocalypse, you just kind of do things faster. You never know. So
Negan has a baby on the way. Okay, remember we talked about this last episode?
That's right. Yeah.
And you were saying, well, it could have been this fast. So, hey, Mercer and Princess, there you go, right?
I know, but I just didn't see them. I didn't see them hooking up so quickly. I mean, to me, I thought she was, him. He's so conservative, as a character. He just, and so cautious about everything that he does. So it really kind of surprised me that he was not that he would be in bed with her, but he would be in this, relationship. Because this is now a relationship if you're sleeping together.
Yeah.
And you at each other's apartments. I mean, that's your space. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Then the other trust thing that I realized was, or actually not really the trust thing, but just all the different relationships, and Maggie deferring to Daryl. So she's trusting him to take care of the situation. Mm-hmm. She's kind of stepping back and letting him handle Hornsby, because he's been dealing with Hornsby. So she probably assumes he knows how to handle him or manage him without Hornsby feeling like he's being managed. And then Eugene and Max, I mean, their relationship is growing. And I think they both are so hungry to have somebody that she finally decided, okay, just why not? So she's cautious like Mercer / Michael, but I think she's a little bit more open because she has this pre-existing relationship with Eugene via the radio. Mm-hmm. So, but she does trust that he's, looking out for everybody's best interests. And then the other thing is, Hornsby really showed his true colors, I thought, in this episode, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm shocked that nobody in his troop, or that everybody in his troop, just follows him blindly like lemmings, because it makes no sense, because he's doing such vile things. And these are people that they know, that they've talked to. I mean, they're willing to kill each other just for what? What's their payoff? I don't get that. Mm-hmm. And I just thought ultimately the whole thing was really testing all the different relationships that exist, because everybody's asking something of someone or expecting something from someone, and then you have to deliver it. What if you don't deliver it? Do you, what happens? Does your relationship break down? I mean, what goes on? So, that's kind of what I got from that episode. It left me kind of hanging in a lot of situations, or in a lot of circumstances, based on what was going on. So I don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, I didn't think any of that was going to happen. So what about you?
I think you're absolutely right when it comes to trust. Just like Hornsby did not trust Aaron and Father Gabriel's story. And I laughed out loud when Hornsby recited their story back to them. Like it was so far-fetched. Like, you really want me to believe you? But then you see Father Gabriel and Aaron's faces, and they're both so stern. Like, yep, that's what we said, and what are you calling us,
awkward.
A liar? It was.
Yeah.
But it was such a contrast because, Hornsby comes off, he always has a smile on his face.
He's and says, smirk.
Well, yeah, because underneath what he really is saying and feeling.
He's so comical, though, in the way his expressions.
And they were so serious. And then they say, yeah, that's what happened. And then, of course, he asks Daryl, what do you think? And Daryl says, yeah, it's plausible. I mean, they've been out on their own. They know how to handle themselves. But, Daryl was really right there because when Hornsby went away, Daryl turned around and looked at him like, God, guys, come on. Come on.
But do you think Hornsby really expects Daryl to give them up?
No. I don't know what he expected from Daryl for him to ask him that. I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to see what he'd say. So but I loved all of that. I loved watching that whole dynamic of them. When I watched it the second time, it still made me kind of like laugh, smirk, because I just loved everybody's attitudes in that. I loved the way Hornsby played it, even though he's such a jerk and he's a villain, but I do like the way he's playing his role. And I like the way Daryl played his role and how Father Gabriel and Aaron were, So I really appreciated that whole scene, but I agree with you about Hornsby. I feel like he's just relentless in what he wants. He just wants to win at all costs. When they were walking through the woods and he doesn't really care. You can tell he doesn't care about Aaron and Father Negan anymore. Or did I say that right?
Father Negan. Woo!
Father Gabriel.
Yes.
Aaron and Father Gabriel anymore. I feel like at that point, he thought they were going to die because
really,
yes, the look on his face that they did it. He's like, oh man, he was a little surprised and upset that they made it. I think he thought that one or both of them could die. I don't know.
Well, that was the plan.
Yes, that was the plan. And so he's like, damn, they made it through that. And then when he did get to Hilltop and, he just interrogating little Herschel, just trying to get him to flip. And also with the truck, like we had spoke about, because he really thought he was going to catch Maggie in a lie. And he thought, it's just this connector, puts the connector. And I was like sweating it because the way Maggie was responding. They were playing
it great. I know.
Yes. I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to get found out. And it was just really well done. And then it was like, oh no, it doesn't work. It's not working. Thank God. I don't know what they did, but they were smart. And however, they got the truck not to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
because he just remove a spark plug, right? I mean, really. I mean, it didn't have a spark. So it had to be something else disconnected. So.
Yeah. But he was even checking the tires and how the mud, checking how long the mud could have been there. And then with the little ball cap with Herschel.
But that was his hat. Wasn't that his hat?
I think so. I think it was. I thought the same thing. I'm like, I think it's Herschel's hat.
It would have been better if his name was inside.
I know. Ah! Well, how could he have done that? Well, I guess somebody could have sewn it in, I guess, but
no, magic marker.
Yeah. And I liked seeing Elijah come protect Herschel. I thought that was a really cool scene there. Mm-hmm. But with Hornsby, I found it interesting. I'm jumping forward here toward the end when he approaches Leah's tent I was surprised he wasn't afraid. He trusted that she wasn't going to do anything. And he doesn't know Leah. She could have picked him off right there. He doesn't know this person, where they're coming from. He doesn't know her. He doesn't know what to expect from her. He doesn't know what she's dealt with Maggie and Daryl before. Yet it was almost like he did know. So I found it interesting that And I had questions about his assumptions.
I think that there might... Okay, so you can go under the assumption he approaches in a suit. No guns, no nothing. He looks pretty harmless. But, and he's talking very loudly and he's surrounded by all these people. So that's his shield, all the people. However, we don't really know if they have never crossed paths before. They might have, and we just don't know it yet. So they may know each other from something way back when. But I don't know. He's an arrogant jerk. He's going to... He thinks he's untouchable. So when he finally does end up dying, which I think will happen, not at the end of this 2 out of 3, but it'll end probably second to last episode or something, but he's going to die. You know he's going to die. And Pam is probably going to kill him. I don't know. Somebody will kill him. Maybe the kid. Maybe her kid will kill him. Whatever his name is.
Hi, Sebastian. So, I know this is really, really jumping ahead, but I'm thinking, will Daryl kill Leah? I thought about it briefly because because in the previews, Hornsby tells her, did he say I want proof that she's dead or I want something like that, right? And so that's her plan.
You'll have it.
Yeah. And I thought, ooh, you think you're going to kill Maggie? She's not going to die. She's in the spinoff. But no, besides that, I don't think she's going to die.
She gets put back together in the animal farm.
Could be her twin. She could have a twin out there. But, and then I thought, well, will Maggie kill her? Or maybe it'll be Daryl. Wow. Because maybe he'll be like, you know what? This is my family. And you've crossed the line, Leah. You've crossed the line. I don't know. Or will Leah end up saving Daryl somehow, maybe, and not do what she's supposed to do? I don't know. There's so many ways this could go, but
I think she will say, I don't think she'll kill Maggie. I think she's going to pretend. She's going to play the role like everybody does.
Could be.
And pretend like she did what Hornsby wanted her to do, just so she can get back to where she was, which was her own little thing. You know? Yeah. I don't think she's going to kill anybody. What good is that going to do her? Yeah. What's she going to get out of it?
Yeah, it would only be for revenge, and who's to say if she's
against her, against Maggie? There's no what's there. I mean, there's nothing. And Daryl, she was supposedly in love with Daryl, so there's nothing there. I mean, her family, right? And it's just, you don't really know if these people have gone crazy either, just with everything that's going on. So.
Exactly. So true. I want to get back to Mercer and Princess because you had brought them up earlier, because I actually love the scene, their discussion on sex and Princess sensing something is up with Mercer about him staying up at night, staring at the ceiling. And, but he's resistant to tell her what he's going through at that point. I felt like it was really realistic of a couple. So I liked seeing them in that manner. And then later he apologizes, like he waits for her outside her apartment, which I thought was cute. And she says...
He should have been in the apartment.
He
probably has the key.
Possibly. But she says she can handle the heavy stuff too. And then he tells her, because he's trusting her, which I thought that was a big leap on his part. He tells her that he killed his own troopers and that it's really weighing on him, which is what I had said in the last podcast episode. I thought it was really bothering him, and it is really bothering him because it's keeping him up at night because he struggles with this. And so he tells her about it, and she says, you know what? Let's go inside. Let's work it out. But yeah, I just like that she's there for him and that he confided in her. I also want to say that I know you thought it was fast or quick for them, but now we know it's been 6 months since they've been there. So that's a long time. We're feeling like it's like 2 months or they just had that party, but it's really been 6 months. So it probably just seems like it was quick for them, but it hasn't been.
They are adults too.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and they're really good at it, Margaret. They're really good at it. Let them have have their fun. They've been on the road for so long. They need it. They need it. Good for them. I love it. I love it. Love is in the air. Hey, I keep singing songs. What's wrong with me? I don't songs. Either. They're old songs. And Mercer and Max, I thought that was a cool conversation too. You know, that she was kind of saying, hey, I'm grown up. You don't have to protect me, and come on, do something. We can't just sit on our hands anymore. We got to act. So it was kind of nice to see that dynamic between brother and sister, which I think prompted him to finally spill the beans to Princess, which will all come about, as me and you have talked about before, about Princer. I said their ship name, Princer, on accident. It'll bring Mercer over to our side, which we already knew he was going to, but, you know, so much closer, just so much closer.
Yeah, just because they're trusting. The only people they're telling anything to are the outsider people.
Yeah.
You know? So they're actually being real with them. So
yeah, exactly. All right. Any other thoughts or tidbits on this episode, Margaret?
So the one thing, so working in the medical field, I did not appreciate the appendectomy set up in the OR because it was no masks, no gloves, sterile, nothing sterile. And then I'm like, oh my God, she's going to be dead from something in the air. So I couldn't believe that they did that. And the thing is, the director, so this is the thing that I was thinking of before. The director, I did watch a little bit of the Talking Dead. And so the director she knows her stuff because she was on ER. And I'm like, oh my God, how much does she really know? Because she doesn't. I'm in the OR like twice a month. Not that that's a lot, but it's more than the average Joe. And I've been in there, working in there, and there's a sterile field, and there's all the stuff that you have to maintain and everything else. And sure, you see all these medical shows from way back when they don't have a surgical suite and, 1800s, whatever. So they're really down and dirty and nitty gritty, but still you get infections so easily anyway. But I just thought it was kind of interesting because I would have thought that they would have had something in lieu of some of the, like a drape or something a little bit more, I don't know, sterile for them, just to kind of try to be a little more safe because he's doing surgery out in the barnyard, So.
I don't work in the medical field, and I said it out loud as we were watching it. So I'm feeling what you felt just as a regular person, because I said, he's not wearing a mask. I mean, he has them. No. He's a doctor. Why didn't he bring them with him? And also, even Carol dabbing the girl down with their gauze. Yeah, the blood, sorry. Yeah. And with the gauze.
More gauze, I can't see.
But see, even her proximity, I thought, oh my God, her hands, she hasn't washed her hands. I mean, can't you at least get a thing of water? You know what I mean?
I know.
To make it seem like you're washing your hands. So yes, I agree.
Like they care. So sepsis.
But that's all you would have needed. Put a mask on him, just a regular, at least,
Anything.
like the ones we wear, right?
Yeah,
and then just have her just really quick rinse her hands in water. At least we would have felt there was some effort. So that's so funny.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah. So anything else, Margaret? Any other tidbits or thoughts?
Well, I've really enjoyed the camera work on the more recent shows just because it's like up front and center, the killings and the close-ups and the perspective, and then the aerial view of them in bed. That was unique. They're really doing a lot of experimenting with just making things a little bit more interesting visually. So I really appreciate that, being a photographer. Yeah. So I think it's unfortunate that they didn't do this before, but it's the directors that they're bringing in that have a vision, and then the other guy, director of photography, they always have something, to contribute, but the director ultimately and producers are the ones that really make the decision. So I thought that it really emphasized just the brute force killing when Hornsby's like, okay, you guys, these are yours. That horde horde of 12 guys or 15 guys, 15 dead people. And I'm surprised that Daryl went and helped. I'm not surprised that Daryl went and helped, but I'm surprised that Hornsby let Daryl go and help, because Daryl had the actual machinery. It's almost like Hornsby just wanted to see these guys in action, because he's probably never seen anybody actually take on these guys, hand-to-hand combat. They've always used guns or some kind of weaponry to take them out, the dead people. So the walkers. Yeah. So it's kind of, I think it really lends itself to Hornsby's just fascination with the power in this group that has come into their society and what they can bring. It's raw and real and, authentic. And I think that Hornsby gets off on that. So,
yeah.
And
my little tidbits and thoughts were, one, I liked Eugene and Max's kiss finally, because I thought, oh my gosh, this is real. And they haven't kissed before, even though he thought he kissed Stephanie. But now it was Max's turn. But it was part of that whole vulnerability, because they trust each other now. And so they had their first kiss, which was, I'm like, yes, Eugene, finally. And then, so Eugene and Rosita tell Connie and Kelly about April and saying, oh, we need to get it out there because all this stuff is happening underneath the scenes.
I forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
But when Connie and Kelly showed them that list, I'm thinking, who sent them the list? Somebody sent them that list, which is part of that group that we haven't seen yet, but somebody sent them that list. So when are these people going to reveal themselves? It's got to be hopefully soon. And I'm thinking it will be the next episode, because it's the last episode before the break.
Right.
So I can't wait to see that and who that entails and who it is. And if it's anybody we've seen already, although I don't know that we haven't seen that many people from the Commonwealth except for the main people. But just as a side note, Max and Mercer, I just think that the best looking siblings. I thought, wow, because when Mercer was working out with his kettlebell and then Max comes in with her white or off-white looking pants, I'm like, geez, these guys, both these were blessed with these bodies, man. I was like, wow. And then watching Mercer go from one thing to another, they've never shown that before. So that was
He was doing circuit trading.
Yes, he was. He was doing it well too, okay?
Oh, man.
But and she just had those high heels and those cute pants, and her shirt's all, she's got that little bow tie all the way up. And so they just looked really good. They just are nice. They have good genes. Okay. I don't know. Their parents are probably unfortunately long gone, but their parents passed along those good genes. And then we haven't even talked about Carol and Ezekiel's conversation, but because that was so minor compared to, I think, everything else that happened. But I did like their conversation. I do like that she's sensing something and because he can see something in her, because he now has a light that she says. And, but you can see something's brewing within Carol too, that she's ready to make her move. But I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute that she tells Ezekiel, we're not getting back together. He says, I know.
That was funny.
Yeah, he's all, I know. You keep telling me that. It was funny. And then
I don't think he wants to get back together with her either, though.
I think he would. I think he would.
There's no affection. There's no real physical touching or affection or even comfort. It's not even like they're chummy buddy. It's just very.
Well, they are chummy buddy. I think they are chummy
verbally, buddy. Not physically though.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have any body language at all. So to me, that's why they're just buds now. Yeah. They're not intimate or going to be.
Yeah. But I also saw what you saw, how you've said in the past episodes, how they're shooting all of this, because I thought the opening shot where they showed the Toby Carlson, the CIA agent, dead. Yeah, and he had those walkers surrounding him, and they were placed perfectly. The colors look so good, though, even though it was with guts and blood. It was a
art.
really, yes, it was art. It was art.
Yeah.
I thought even though it was, shouldn't be a pleasant looking scene. It was a nice shot. So
I was waiting for somebody to twitch and get up and walk away.
I know.
Well,
they were sleeping. They're like, we're full now, so we're sleeping it off. It's like turkey, Thanksgiving, after you have a turkey, you're like, I'm full now. Food coma. All right, Margaret.
That hormone.
We are at our segment and the award goes to. So tell me, what was your favorite quote, character, or moment?
I liked the moment when Hornsby was grilling Herschel and everybody ran to his aid. So it was really, really tense. And I really thought Hornsby should have bit it.
I know.
Point. But everybody was under, so you didn't know who was pointing at who and who was, but I felt bad for poor little Herschel and he didn't know what to do. He's such this mama's boy. So, but at least he didn't give it all up, which was good. But you don't know if he would have if Hornsby had more time with them either. Because kids have they tell it like it is. They generally don't have any kind of filter. So I thought that was really kind of where everybody came together, the core group, and I think that it really exposed that they still are a tight knit group, even though Daryl is a stormtrooper guy, and Maggie's over here, and it's really I think that might have been what really flipped Hornsby into deciding that he needs to get rid of Maggie because she is the core of this group. And if he can get rid of her, then he can control everybody else. They'll fall in line with him. And you, what was your moment or character?
I agree with you on your favorite moment, but also adding to that, I love the badass moments. So to me, what stood out to me was when Aaron bashed at Walker with his armored hand and Father Gabriel sliced the Walker, and then seconds later, its head goes sliding off.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really cool. And then Hornsby watches and Daryl kicks the head to him and says, saved you another bullet. And also when Daryl turns the gun on Hornsby, when that whole thing with Herschel happened, and says, you've turned the place upside down, you didn't find anything, and unless you want to die for nothing, tell them to drop the guns before something really effing bad happens. I'm like, what?
I know. Yeah, that was very appropriate.
Yes. Okay, Daryl has been, my badass king for the last season. I just love it. I love it. It was perfect. It was great.
I liked that. I totally heard that as well. Yeah. And I thought, I've never heard that on TV before.
All right. Tell me one thing you learned in this episode and then what you're looking forward to in The Walking Dead.
I am amazed that they can be so fresh and with the storyline and just kind of keep it moving forward. I think the season has been really incredible that way. So unpredictable. And as far as anything looking forward to, I want to see what happens. Like we spoke about Maggie and Leah, and then Hornsby and what happens with all his guys, if they stay with him or if they hang it up. And then Pam and her son, what's going to happen to them? Because the kid has been uncovered as being, and she's already called him whatever she called him. So she's aware. So there's got to be some repercussion for that. So that's about all I think that might happen, or that I would like to see happen sooner than later. Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, I learned that you have to be the power for change, because I saw that throughout this episode with Mercer, with Max, with Ezekiel, and with the others, but mostly those three in this episode. And I'm looking forward to seeing our group kick some Hornsby, Sebastian, Leah butt, man. I just, I want them to put them in their place. So, oh my God, one more episode. Hey, I didn't mention this at the top of this episode, but I do want to mention it now that you probably saw that they filmed their last Walking Dead episode this a few days ago. So that was
no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was all over their social media. Yeah, Angela King had moments. Greg Nicotero had moments. Daryl, Norman Reedus had moments. And they just had it all spotlighted, their final moments. And I guess Norman Reedus gave kind of an emotional send-off, because it was her last. Yeah. I'm like, oh, no. And it kind of hit me. I'm like, no, I know we still have 9 more episodes, but I remember when we had 22 and 26. I'm like, how did we get here? But yeah, so it's a little heartbreaking. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Aww.
All right. That wraps up our conversation on The Walking Dead. Margaret, what else are you currently watching?
I have a subscription to the Apple TV Plus. So I've been getting these, hey, why don't you check out this new show? So the new show that I checked out was Slow Horses, and it stars Gary Oldman, and it has Kristen Scott Thomas, both English actors. And it's really kind of an interesting show. So it's about MI5, not MI6, because MI5 is where all the MI6 rejects get sent to perform the underclass sort of duties. So they do all the research, the paper searches, the internet search, they do all of that background information check. They're not out in the field. So I thought it was really kind of interesting, a little hard to understand because of the accents and I'm having a hard time understanding people. I don't know if it's the sound, my TV, I'm not sure, but it's just not that clear. Plus they speak pretty quickly. So you kind of got to get into the rhythm of the English accent and then you can get it better. But it really is about this one guy who failed miserably his final test out in the field to find a guy with a backpack with a bomb. and you think it's real, right? You think it's actually happening and he's out there as an agent. But it's actually just his last field test, which he failed because the guy ended up blowing up, the train station and killing 159 people or whatever and injuring however many. And so they're like, you can't, you didn't pass, you got to go to this other place. So this other place is run by Gary Oldman and he's just like, whiskey smoking, feet up on the table. It's a dank office and, they're just running background checks on people and running, cameras and doing this, that, and doing minor stuff. And this guy is like, oh, I got to get out there. I got to get there. So I only saw one episode. So it's quite the full plate just in one episode because I didn't go on to number 2 because I was tired. So, but I was away. So my movie, actually I watched on the plane and unfortunately it was a 2.5 hour movie or 2.5 plus hour movie. And I only had like an hour, 50-minute flight. So I did not get to see the very end of it, but it was the Spider-Man No Way Home. And so I left
Margaret.
it. I know. I thought it was, I'm not a Marvel. I like watching those things, but I'm not addicted. Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I thought it was, I like the Tom Holland guy as Spider-Man. I like him better than Tobey Maguire or the other guy. What's the other guy?
Stop.
You don't like Tom Holland?
I do, but I like Tobey Maguire.
I can't stand his mouth. He's got this tiny little mouth and he talks like this. So, anyway, so I thought it was really kind of cool. The whole intertwining of all the different guys who play. I mean, it was a way to bring all of the worlds together and have it make sense because it was dimensional. And then bringing back all of the villains from all of these things, all these different dimensions, and then having them all because he's revealed. And apparently, it happens in one dimension. It happens in all of the dimensions. So I just thought it was really kind of very creative. And I liked the interplay and I liked all of that. And I still don't know how it ends. So I have to, I was hoping to catch the rest of it on the next flight home. And the system didn't work. So I couldn't. And I was like, crap. So I'm going to have to rent it or I don't know. I'll have to see it somehow just to see how it ends. But I love Zendaya. She was in Dune. She's phenomenal. I think she's an incredible actress.
She is. She is.
I don't know why she has not been recognized properly or awarded anything.
Well, she has won Emmys. She has won an Emmy.
She should be, but she's been doing films.
I know, but she is in Euphoria.
Yeah, but she didn't get the SAG award though, because I voted for her because I saw Euphoria when it was up, and I was like, holy shit, who is? Oh, pardon my French, but who is this girl? She's really good. I was unfamiliar with her. She's
also in Malcolm and Marie. It's on Netflix. It's a black and white film. It was shot during COVID. It didn't get the best of reviews, but I actually really liked it because I really liked her. It's one of those movies really where it's, and that's why I watched it, because I really do like her, and I think she's really good for being such a young actress. So she is good. She's good in all of that. I like her. I'm a fan.
Me too. So that's what I got. What do you got?
Okay, so I watched Bridgerton season 2 on Netflix. I will say I've got one more episode to go. I was trying to stay up so late last night so I could finish it, but I love the series. This series is all about the Bridgerton family trying to find love in the Regency era high society. Season 1 was such a hit, concentrating on the eldest daughter, Daphne, and Simon. And in this season, concentrates on the eldest son. I don't know if it's Anthony or Antony, but anyways, he's the Viscount.
Antony. It's Antony.
Antony.
No, I'm kidding. It's Antony is how you say it in New York. Antony.
Oh, okay. So, but I do love, of course, I love it all, right? Because it has to do with love.
You just love love. I
love love. I love it. But
I know.
I also like gossip. And so what I love is that Lady Whistledown is the gossip columnist that people in season 1 don't get to learn who she is until the end. And of course, in season 2, you do know who it is. No, you don't know, because I'm not saying who it is, but it's narrated by Julie Andrews. But it is not Julie Andrews. Okay. But also what I love is the music. The music is current, right now, current music.
Really?
But they play it through an orchestra.
So you recognize,
instrumentally cool. Orchestra. It is so cool because you're like, wait, I know this song. And you're like, wait, that's why I know this song. It's very cool. I love it. Love Bridgerton. But I also watched, my Saturday night movie was Quiet Place Part 2. And I saw it on Paramount Plus.
You just saw that?
Yes. Part 2, yeah. Because I didn't have access unless I would have purchased it, and I haven't. So I was able to watch it on Paramount Plus. But it's a post-apocalyptic horror film and follow-up to the 2018 film by John Krasinski, starring Emily Blunt, who leads the Abbott family, along with her deaf daughter, Reagan, and son, Marcus, and the baby. And so what I liked about this film is that it shows as a flashback prior to the apocalypse, when the creatures or aliens come to Earth. And we get to see, is it Cillian? I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. Cillian Murphy, the actor. He's a new character that the family meets up with during the apocalypse, but you get to see him introduced in the flashback, which I appreciated. And so Reagan, the daughter in this, in both films, of course, she is deaf, and she figures out a way, or she discovers that the creatures are vulnerable to high frequency. And she's able to use her hearing implant with a speaker to weaken the creatures. I really liked this movie. I liked the first one. I know it's taken me a while to see the second one, but I really liked it. And to me, it's better than your average horror film. So I really liked it and appreciated it.
But it wasn't resolved.
No. So there's probably going to be a number 3. Yep, yep, absolutely. All right, Margaret, thank you again for your insights and your recommendations. I love them. Thank you, Margaret.
You're welcome.
That's our show. Thanks for tuning in. We are grateful you tuned in, and we hope something we said today resonated with you, gave you a chuckle, some happiness, some positivity, or inspiration. Please subscribe to our website and follow Screens in Focus and tell a friend. We would love more members of our TV club. You can rate and review the podcast on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. This will help other listeners find us. We'll be releasing a new episode next week. Next show will be on The Walking Dead, Season 11, Episode 16. Oh my God, 16. You can find our website listed in our show notes. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.